Welcome to Roadtrip Roulette, a travel podcast with your hosts, Juliet
and Kevin. We're two friends here to serve as your tour guides on a virtual visit to a randomly selected U.S. town. We're going to bring you the local stories that you didn't think you'd care about and highlight the small town silliness that we all know is just beneath the surface.
Join us as we explore America one town at a time to discover the little things that make it great and sometimes not so great. Buckle up, we're about to start the show.
Hello.
All right, you ready to pick a city?
Yeah.
But how do we do that, Kevin?
Well, we go to our website, of course.
Roadtrippod.com.
Roadtrip Pod.
2 P's.
2 P's in a pod. I think we've made that joke before.
I don't know if we have, but I love it.
.com. Yes. I remember when I was a kid, I was watching the Rosie O'Donnell show.
Familiar.
She'd come out and do a monologue. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times she would talk to somebody in the crowd.
Yeah.
Somebody would introduce her at the beginning, usually like a woman in the crowd.
Okay, yes, I recall.
An older woman did it, and she they have a brief conversation. This woman's name was .com, and I never forget about that. It was like an old lady. This is like the mid-90s.
Wow.
And her name was .com.
.com.
And, yeah, surely...
What a time to be alive.
Surely she's deceased.
Think about it. If she was just 50 years older, her name would have never been a pun. That's amazing.
Well...
What a twist of history. I'm just so impressed. Okay, all right, fine. Let's pick a city.
All right.
Well, you explained how to get to our website. What happens once you get there?
At roadtrippod.com, you go and click on the city picker, and it will randomly select a U.S. town or city.
Right. We plugged every single U.S. town or city into a spreadsheet, and a friend of ours built this for us, and it randomly selects one. So we're going to do it. You can use it all you want for any of your own personal needs, besides creating your own similar podcasts.
Yes, don't do that. I'm hoping not to get a Midwestern or Southern city.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of those. I'd like to. It's been a while since we've had a Eastern or New England,
West Coast, or Texas. Even we live in Texas, and we have yet to do Texas.
Because we've said if it's a 2-hour drive, we could go.
yeah, we have. Those words have been uttered.
2-hour drive, we're gonna go.
All right, let's see where we're gonna be talking about today.
It's spinning. Ooh, like Kevin's neck of the woods. West Warwick, Rhode Island.
West Warwick, Rhode Island.
Oh, what did I say? Harwick?
Harwick.
Must have been thinking about Chris Hardwick. It happens a lot.
Who doesn't?
I know.
So, Warwick, I know pretty well. I used to go to the TGI Fridays in Warwick.
Okay.
It had one of these really cool old-timey phone booths in there.
Oh,
it was like
nice.
3 floors of whatever, and I would climb all over it as a child. We would go there on New Year's Eve. That was our family tradition. I would get the chicken fingers. My mom would get a frozen strawberry daiquiri, and that was the one drink she would have for the entire year because she wasn't a drinker. But West Warwick, Rhode Island,
So
TGI Fridays.
I'm guessing West Warwick is west of Warwick.
Yeah, Warwick is a place. West Warwick is separate.
It's probably just to the west, right?
Yeah, certainly. I want to show you.
Okay, we're going to look it up.
Oh, no, it's in Warwick.
Oh, no.
But it is right on
It's right on that Warwick-West Warwick border.
See, come on. You can see West Warwick from our house.
Yeah. You stand on the top of that TGI Fridays.
You get in that telephone booth. You look out that window. You're going to see some West Warwick.
You're going to see the whole city.
Yes. All right, well.
That's exciting.
I'm excited to talk about Rhode Island.
I wonder if I'll ever get a Bay Area town.
Maybe.
Trip down my memory lane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell some of those Sunnyvale stories. Ooh, boy.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
There are no stories about Sunnyvale.
Look forward to finding out.
Okay. Well, that's a fun one. I can't wait.
Yeah. So when we come back, we're going to have a nice story about West Warwick, Rhode Island.
Let's hear what West Warwick has to say.
West Warwick.
All right, Kevin, you ready to talk about West Warwick, Rhode Island, which is, by the way, a bit of a tongue twister. It's the W's and the R's.
I grew up very close there, and Rhode Island in general. I never quite understood what Rhode Island is actually about. Like, what's a road? RHODE? I don't know.
I bet it's the first thing that comes up when I go to the Rhode Island Wikipedia page.
Like, because there's Rhodes Scholars, right?
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Origin of the name.
Ooh.
Okay, it's unclear how Aquidneck Island came to be known as Rhode Island, but two historical events may have influenced the name. Explorer Giovanni de Veranzo named the presence of an island near the mouth of Narragansett Bay in 1524, which he likened to the island of Rhodes, part of modern Greece. Okay, so that's... Or Adrian Block passed by Aquidneck during his expeditions in the 1610s, and he described it in 1625 account of his travels as an island of reddish appearance, which in Dutch is said as een rodelijk eindig.
Good try.
Okay, so in the 17th century Dutch, the one popular notion is that Dutch phrase might have influenced the name Rhode Island. So it's actually not like somebody's name or super clear why it's called Rhode Island.
Well, that makes sense why I never learned that.
Yeah.
Because I'm a huge nerd.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have picked that up. So there are a lot of things I couldn't pronounce when I was looking up stuff.
Yeah, me too. Well, all the Portuguese.
Well, yeah, I have the fortunate thing here of knowing some of the names. Like Narragansett, I grew up on Mount Hope Bay that feeds into the Narragansett Bay. Formation of Warwick is directly related to the formation of the state of Rhode Island. Did you catch that?
I did not.
Oh, fascinating stuff. Do you have any interesting history? Because I can just say a few random things about it.
Go for it.
Okay. So West Warwick is actually the youngest town in the state of Rhode Island. It was founded in 1913.
Right.
It was split off from regular Warwick, which that's what it's called, regular Warwick.
Yeah, regular Warwick.
Because all the people that worked there were like blue-collar Democratic voters that worked in the mills, and all the people in regular Warwick were Republican, wealthier people, I guess. And they split based on the political climate. It was 1913. But prior to that, West Warwick was part of whole Warwick. Way back in 1642, the town was founded by this guy named Samuel Gorton. This isn't even my story. This is just some flavor. So this guy, Sam Gorton, bought the town from some Indians. This one Narragansett Indian named Sachem, Mantonomy.
Sounds right.
Yeah. So he sold them the land for 144 fathoms of wampum.
Okay.
Yeah. Good luck with that. I know wampum's like shell.
Yes.
It's a shell-based currency. I tried to look up more about it, but it's really vague. Anyway, so he bought the land from this Native American. I was reading from the town's website. The purchase was not without dispute. Other Indians in the area said that Sachem Mantonomy sold the land without asking for their approval. So they went to the nearest white person governmenting body. They went to Boston and made a claim saying that this guy ripped them off and this is their land. And the Massachusetts Bay Colony said, we'll help you, but you got to give your land to us and we'll defend your claim. So they gave up the land, and Warwick was now under the Massachusetts Bay Colony. So they came down to like rein in on this guy, Sam Gorton. And Sam Gorton, like, jumped on a ship, went to England, visited this guy, Robert Rich, the second Earl of Warwick.
Oh, I see.
And he came back with a letter ordering Massachusetts to cease molestation of him and his people. In gratitude, he changed the name of Shawmut Plantation, which it had been known as, to Warwick. Later on, Warwick was split into West Warwick and Warwick, which we're talking about West Warwick.
Yeah, the West.
But it's still, at this time, it was part of
right.
It was a town. So I thought that was an interesting little history.
That is interesting. I like the concept of him getting some Earl to bail him out.
You mean Robert Ritz, the second Earl of Warwick?
Yeah.
And the head of the Commission for Foreign Plantations?
Ooh.
So not just any
Not just
Earl.
any old Earl.
No. But yeah, Warwick had so much cool stuff that we can't talk about.
Right, because we're in West Warwick.
Did you see the Giuseppe affair?
Yeah, there's some cool shit.
We can't talk about that.
No, it's in Warwick. Well, you told me yours was a little more modern.
It is. It's also a little bit of a bummer.
Okay, well, how about then I'll start with a historic location in West Warwick that you can still visit, kind of.
Ooh.
West Warwick is home to the Lippett Mill, which is a textile cotton mill built in 1809, making it the second oldest in Rhode Island, after the Slatter Mill. So the Lippett Manufacturing Company was founded by a Revolutionary War officer, Colonel Christopher Lippett, and his brother Charles Lippett, and then a bunch of other people that aren't named Lippett.
Fair enough.
So during the Depression following the War of 1812, did you know there was a Depression following the War of 1812?
I would imagine there was one in Washington which burned to the ground.
Right.
But up there, no.
Well, yeah, there was. So the Lippett Manufacturing Company survived this era by supplying yarn to convict weavers in the Vermont prison system.
Okay.
So the company grew throughout the 19th century, and it became a large, profitable enterprise in which several generations of the Lippett family were involved. So in 1889, all of the Lippett Company assets were sold to the firm Beebe, Knight, and Robert Knight, who were the founders of the Fruit of the Loom Company.
Oh, yes.
So they sold the mill a few times. It ended up owned by this guy named Joseph Hayes, who was the owner of the River Point Lace Works Company. And it made lace from the 1920s to the 1970s. So this mill had been in operation since 1809 and was continuing through the 70s. So the Hayes family stopped manufacturing lace in the early 70s. The mill actually continued operation until 2010, but it then flooded. And a bad economy in general forced the mill to close in 2010.
In 2010, there was a horrible flood.
Yep, that was it. The Patuxent River? Patuxent?
Yeah.
Okay, so it is a National Historic Place. It was added to the National Register of Historic Places way back in 1973. So the mill hasn't been used since 2010, but there is talk of it becoming a residential complex. As recently as about a year ago, there were redevelopment conversations for a $15 million project that would turn the Lippett Mill into a residential complex with affordable housing units, and it looks like that might be going forward. So the building's still there.
Yeah.
And I bet you can, and it's in the middle of town, you can visit it, and I'm sure there's plaques and shit, because it's a historic place.
That whole area of the country is just full of beautiful old textile mills. My hometown is full of them.
And that's so different from, like, the town geography of where I grew up in California. Like, there weren't a lot of older buildings. I mean, we had, like, an old adobe, like, in the middle of town.
I don't even know what that is.
Adobe?
Like it's, clay
Yeah, it's
building?
a kind of... So it's a type of clay and structure used to design, but, like, it's the clay itself is called adobe, but also, like, a house made out of it is called an adobe.
Oh.
So usually part of the, Spanish mission.
Yeah, I just remember from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, they go to the Alamo and the tour guide's like, everyone say it, Adobe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, apparently I just was transfixed on how she said it and not what she said.
Mm-hmm. So the reason the building's a National Historic Place and is kind of unique is that it looks almost identical to when it was built in 1809. It's like almost, especially the outside structure, is almost completely unchanged.
Yeah.
That was like the main thing I thought that was interesting. But I will say, I have very exciting news.
Uh-oh.
That the textile and manufacturing history of West Warwick lives on because...
Trump?
No. Quite excitingly, West Warwick was recently named, do you know?
I don't.
The mattress capital of Rhode Island. I know. Exciting stuff. So, when I found that, I said, woo, what a title.
Yeah, I mean, way to spring into action.
You might ask yourself, how does one get the name Mattress Capital of Rhode Island?
Well, the Carty brothers have a mattress showroom in West Warwick.
Yes.
I met the Carty brothers many times because they ran a road race near my hometown.
Oh.
I don't know if it's related, but they sell beds.
So I can only find one reference to West Warwick as the mattress capital of Rhode Island.
Is that right?
It's on its Wikipedia page, which makes me think it's a joke. But the article it cites states that the only two mattress recycling businesses in all of Rhode Island are located in West Warwick. And there was a law passed in 2013, the mattress recycling law, requiring mattress recycling for the state of Rhode Island. And these two companies are subsidized by the state because it's quite a detailed and expensive process to recycle a mattress.
Does it name the companies?
Yes. They are Mattress Express Recyclers and Ace Mattress Recycling.
I wonder. So Cardi's used to have a service where they do same-day delivery, and they would pick up your old furniture, mattress, whatever, and take it with them.
Yeah.
So I wonder
Maybe
if
they're
there's an affiliated business here.
Right. So this article in no way references West Warwick as the mattress capital of Rhode Island.
Well, we will remember it and keep that in our hearts when we think about it going forward.
But I can only assume that's why it has that nickname, is because it's where mattresses go to die in the state of Rhode Island.
Well, funny you say that, because my story is full of tragedy.
Wonderful.
And we will hope to remember it as the mattress capital and not for what I'm about to tell you.
All right, let's hear it.
So this is a thing that happened when I was in high school.
Okay. Do you remember this happening?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Everyone remembers it happening. It shook the community.
Okay.
So at the time, I was 18, a senior in high school. I was driving around, going to a lot of concerts in Providence, and I was not at this event, which happened. Have you ever heard of the band Great White?
No.
They're a hair band from the 80s.
Oh, yeah. Yes, that sounds familiar.
Their biggest hit was Once Bitten, Twice Shy.
Okay.
Once bitten, twice shy, babe.
Feels right.
It's a terrible song. So anyway, they were performing at this place called The Station.
Okay.
Which is the nightclub in the town of West Warwick that had been around. It had been it was a restaurant. It was a hangout for veterans at one point. And it was always advertised on the radio. It turns out later, the radio station that was in Providence I always listened to was, the ownership had their hands in this place. That comes up later. So, Great White's playing, and they put on a show. They had pyrotechnics and all sorts of stuff. So one of their major sparklers in a song went off, and it shot, like, sparklers all over.
Okay.
Not flames, but, like, sparklers, and it catches fire on this, like, foam insulation that's on the ceiling.
Oh, so this was inside.
This was inside. It was February. It is freezing out, and everyone thinks it's part of the show. There's, like, a fire on the stage. The band's still playing. So, a little background. A few days prior to this, in Chicago, there was a fire at a concert hall, and the local news was doing a story at this nightclub this night about, like, safety in a club. Like, this to do, like, a future piece.
Yeah.
And there was a guy there, and he caught all of this on tape. He's there, and it's horrifying. So the smoke starts filling this place. Everyone finally starts realizing there's a problem. There's 4 exits. Everyone heads to the one they came into. It bottlenecks. It's awful. 100 people die.
Oh my god.
100 people die.
Yikes.
Out of it was over capacity too. There were 462 people there. The place only held 400. Bar staff died. Members of the band died. Local DJ died. Yeah, this guy, the doctor on HAY, he was like a weekend guy that was always... growing up, I'd always hear him. And in tribute to him, after this fire, they would play this piece where on his last shift, one of the last songs he played was Fade to Black by Metallica. And he remarks right before he plays it, he's like, oh, Metallica's coming out with a new album this year. You know, who knows if I'm going to even live to hear it. Like, he said something like that. It was so creepy. And they play this all the time in, like, tribute because he had, like, a sick sense of humor. And, like, I don't know. And it was such a sad thing. So every concert I went to around this time, the owners of the club would come on stage between every act and tell everyone where the exits are. They would make it super clear. Like, it shook the entire area. You probably heard this happen. It was a huge situation. But the video is horrifying. It's on YouTube. I don't recommend you watch it unless you have a morbid curiosity. There were lawsuits after this about liability. Who's going to get sued for the owners of the club, which like had their hands in all sorts of businesses around Providence. There was also the band management and the guy who set up the pyrotechnics. He was on the hook. A lot of people went to jail, not for too long. Like, what do you do?
Right.
It's like,
obviously, no one did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Like, it's
just a mixture of terrible things.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was in West Warwick.
Yeah, that's pretty awful, Kevin.
It's real bad. It is now a dedicated memorial park.
Oh, interesting.
And it made news last year, again, because someone noticed that it was a popular Pokestop in Pokemon Go, and a lot of the locals really didn't like that. Anyway, mattress capital
of Rhode Island.
Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, it was a bummer, but that's like a thing that happened that was like such a huge
Right.
Huge news story.
Yeah, that sounds really familiar to me. And I will say, like, so we live in Austin, Texas, which we've talked about before, and it's a big music city. Mm-hmm. And it shows a lot that, there aren't pyrotechnics, but I do we're jammed into small clubs a lot. I think about that.
Yeah, I don't know how it affected the rest of the country, but all the places in Providence and the plate in Boston that I would go, they they made their exit signs bigger. They changed all the laws essentially.
Though I will say, a lot of Austin venues are outdoor.
Yeah.
So even if there is a fire, you don't have the same issues with I'm assuming, possibly incorrectly, that a lot of people die in situations like that because of smoke inhalation.
Yeah, that's what it was. It wasn't even flames.
Right. Whereas at outdoor venues, it's not ideal, but you wouldn't necessarily die of smoke inhalation.
So they said the burning foam that was the insulation stuff was so poisonous.
Yeah, caustic.
3 breaths of it will put you down. It was bad. So yeah, and there were reports that people were trying to go out this back entrance where the band was, and the security guard stopped them.
Oh boy.
Saying no, this is the band exit. Before everyone knew it was such an event, obviously.
Well, that's terrible.
Yeah, awful. But
sorry, Warwick.
Sorry, Warwick. I we'll always remember you as the mattress capital of Rhode Island.
Yeah.
But it is what I will remember the town for.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
And I know on the front end of this I said it was at TGI Fridays, which ended up being in regular Warwick. Oh. So unfortunately, the lasting memory for Kevin Feldman is this deadly fire.
Well, now you can add to that mattress capital of Rhode Island.
Mattress capital of Rhode Island. Right. I mean,
what a legacy. That's West Warwick. So I'll add this to make this more positive. There's a big Portuguese community in the area.
My people.
Yes.
Azorian.
And they, from what I understand, there's a Portuguese hall in West Warwick that puts on quite the party.
A feast?
They do a big feast. They do a big parade. And it's also just a hall you can rent. And I can tell you, I read a few Facebook reviews of complaining neighbors.
Oh, I can imagine.
Who think they go a little too hard. Well, West Warwick, quite the legacy. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go grab a chorizo. That's a Portuguese sausage.
Yeah, in fact, a new chorizo place just opened.
Shut up.
Yeah, in West Warwick. I saw that in the news.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
So you can go there. You can swing by that old mill. You could go to this Memorial Park.
Mm-hmm. And find the nearest mattress.
Find the nearest mattress.
I think this is how it works there.
There's mattresses aplenty in West Warwick.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Please visit our website.
Yeah, we're at roadtrippod.com.
No W's.
Don't even worry about those W's.
Yeah, don't.
We're working that out, but
I don't even know what that is. Worldwide? No.
No. We're localized.
Yeah, we're a local website.
And we're on Facebook, Roadtrip Roulette. You can find us on iTunes. Just search Roadtrip Roulette. But yeah, there's lots of ways to find us. And as always, please don't tell them we sent you.